start recording. Okay, so good morning, everyone. I welcome you to data visualization. How to add data visualization to your Angular app webinar. My name is Dhananjay Kumar. In this webinar, we are going to learn about Angular core concepts, and then again we will get into Ignite UI, which is Infragistics JavaScript library, and we will use Ignite UI for JavaScript in our Angular application to add data charts and zoom bar. So this is going to be very demo oriented webinar. We'll be writing codes, and here I'm assuming that you already know basic concepts of Angular. And you are looking forward to learn how to use Ignite UI for JavaScript charts in the Angular application. I'm a presenter of this webinar. My name is Dhananjay Kumar. I work as developer evangelist for Infragistics. You can follow me on Twitter at debug_mode. If you have any queries and anything related to Infragistics or otherwise, you can send me email at dkumar@infragistics.com. That is my email address right there, which you may want to note it down. And if you have any query related to this webinar or related to any Infragistics products or maybe in general Angular or JavaScript, feel free to reach me at dkumar@infragistics.com. As you see that this webinar is hosted to you by Infragistics, and you can go to infragistics.com and can download and explore all our products. We have 30 days free trial for all of our products, so feel free to go to infragistics.com and explore all the products lines. We have products for almost all of your need. Let me just give you a quick walkthrough our infragistics.com. So here right now you are on Infragistics Ignite UI homepage. In this Ignite UI homepage, you will find all information related to Ignite UI. Ignite UI is our JavaScript-based library which helps you to write your application faster. It helps you to run your application faster, and of course, it works with all the modern web. Like it can work with Bootstrap. It works with NPM, Yarn, progressive web apps, and everything. Ignite UI can be integrated with Angular, can be integrated with AngularJS, it can be integrated with React, ASP.NET MVC, and everything. Also, we have a free ebook for you on if you are starting in Angular and you want to learn more about Angular. Go ahead and grab this free ebook from infragistics.com/product/ignite UI, and you should, that should help you in learning Angular. As you see on your screen that we have these many controls in Ignite UI, like popular controls are data grid, data chart, page designer, map, video player, rating, file upload. We have different kinds of grid, like these are very high performance grid which can work with very large amount of data. We have like data grid, hierarchy grid, pivot grid, and all these data grids supports virtualization, it supports pagination, sorting, and all kind of feature you can think of. Then we have different kind of chart which we'll talk about, which we'll talk in detail today in the webinar. Once Ignite UI, you can even check our Xamarin products, Windows Forms products. You can check WPF products and ASP.NET, Universal Windows Universal Windows application apps, and then we have other products line for UX. If you are a designer, you can go and work with Indigo Studio. It helps you to create a whole your wireframe or design wireframe without writing any code. So feel free to go and check infragistics.com, and as I said before, that it has this bot chat support, and you can ask your questions, and it has all these products available for free download for 30 days. So for today's webinar, if you have anything good or bad or constructive feedback to say, please use hashtag Infragistics or tag Infragistics on Twitter to let us know such that we can improve further. A recording of this webinar will be available on Infragistics blog maybe next week, and you will also get email notifying that recording has been uploaded. As I mentioned earlier, that like you can download 30 days free trial our product from Infragistics slash products, and whatever product you choose slash download. You can download that free Angular Essential book from bit.ly.com slash Angular ESS. You may want to note down these two important URL. Like bit.ly.com slash Angular ESS for Angular book download. Well, as I talked, Ignite UI is a JavaScript library for HTML5, Angular, React, ASP.NET, MVC, and that helps you to write your application faster. It helps to run your application faster. It is built for modern web. You can learn more about Ignite UI at infragistics.com slash product slash Ignite UI. Well, so let's, before we go and start adding charts and data visualization to our Angular application, let us first recap a little bit about Angular, like what is Angular. So Angular is one framework for mobile and desktop. Using Angular, you can develop application for all platforms. It is built for progressive web, native mobile, and native desktop. So if you don't know what is progressive web apps are a web application, but kind of they gives you user experience of a mobile apps. Like it can be installable. It has features like push notification and all. So Angular using Angular, you can create end-to-end progressive web app. Of course, you can create mobile app, mobile web application, native web application, and native desktop application. Uh, it has best speed and performance using features like server-side rendering and web workers, and it has incredible support for tooling and templates, CLI, and Angular can be worked on different IDE. So if you're new to Angular, you are at a good place. Go and start learning about Angular at angular.io. Even you can check Infragistics blog for many Angular content. These are the building blocks of Angular application is built upon modules, components, services, pipe, directives, and bindings. So when you start learning Angular, you need to know all these building blocks of Angular. Most of the time, you will be writing components, which is type of a directive. And whenever you go and use any Ignite UI Angular component, Ignite UI Angular controls, they are nothing but Ignite UI Angular components, which you can, most of them are components, some of them are directives as well, and you can use them in your application as you are using your own components, like you created that. So today I'll show you that how you can create a normal components. As well, services are same like AngularJS service. They are injected by Angular into application once per application lifecycle. So anything which is common for all the components, you should put that inside services. Then bindings are again very important. Bindings are to bind data between your template, which is your UI, and your TypeScript class. So in Angular, you have three types of bindings. In fact, four: interpolation, event binding, property binding, and combination of event binding and property binding is known as two-way data binding. So these are the building blocks, and today we are not going into detail of all of this, but feel free to join our next webinars. Maybe we'll be covering all these topics again. Before I move ahead and show you the code, let us talk like why Angular is so popular and why people are like why Angular is awesome. And Angular has few features which are really good, like AOT, ahead of time compilation. It allows your application to be compiled before it gets downloaded in your in user browser or user mobile. Uh, so when you do AOT, actually Angular compiler does not get downloaded, and it really makes a performance of your application very good and size of your application very small. So AOT is one of the good feature. Then server side rendering, tree shaking, component based. Everything is based on components. So even if you whatever you will be writing, or anything which has a view, anything which has a HTML, a template, that is component in Angular. So you'll be writing most of the time component. Angular completely supports observable. So when you are fetching data from the server, or handling lot of events, all these are observable in Angular using RxJS library. And of course it supports dynamic model loading and etc. So what is a components are the most important building block of an Angular application. An Angular application is nothing but a tree of Angular components. Angular components are subset of directives. So there are three types of directives in Angular. They are attribute directive, uh, structure directive, and components. Unlike directives, components always have a template, and only one component can be instantiated per an element in a template. Custom elements are created on the view using the components. So today we are going to create components, and then in the component we will be using Ignite UI charts to bring data visualization to our application. So as you see, these are the types of directives: components, attribute directive, and structure directive. Then we will use services today to bring data from the API. So here it says that services is a reusable class, and they are injected in your application through dependency injection, and Angular takes care of that. So when injecting a service into your component services, we specify what provider we need via type definition in the constructor. And I'll show you the syntax of that. Services are created using the decorator injectable, uh, and like we will use services like $HTTP to bring data from a REST-based API. So today we are going to use services as well. Well, before we go, let us see a little bit about Ignite UI charts, because we'll be using Ignite UI charts for to create data visualization. We have different kinds of chart, like category charts, data charts, donut charts, funnel charts, pie charts, and sparkline. And if you are creating a data chart, in a data chart you have different types of series. Like you can have a bar type data chart, you can have a column type data chart, line type data chart, area spanning. So there are 50 chart types available inside data chart, and if you want to explore them, the URL is given there, igniteui.com/data chart/overview. You can go and check them. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you our Ignite UI data chart homepage. So here you see that you'll find all information about Ignite UI: category chart, data chart, donut chart, funnel, pie. So if you go to data chart and select that, it is showing you about like how it works with high volume data, how animation works, how real-time data works, how Ignite UI data chart works. Same with the donut charts, and all this documentation and samples are available here. So when you click on a sample, it should take you to the next page, and where you can find a sample about that particular chart of that particular type of chart. So here you see a donut chart, and you can fiddle it, and you can see the HTML, JavaScript of that. So for example, if you go to category chart and select this, here there is a category chart, and it shows that these are the types of chart available in category chart, and we have the code. So if you want to see like how HTML is written, how JavaScript is written, how that chart can be created in Angular, the code is available there. If you want to see that how that chart can be created in React, that code is again available there. So you have everything here. Like if you are just using HTML and JavaScript, you can use this. If you want to create this chart in Angular application, here's the code for that. And of course, if you want to use that in React, here's the code for that. We don't have here ASP.NET MVC option, but all the charts are supported in ASP.NET MVC as well. So all of these information are available on our website. Just you can go to igniteui.com and you'll find all the codes, all different types of chart which you can play around. Today in the webinar, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start from a very basic Angular application and start adding some charts step by step, such that you'd see that how easy it is to write your application using Ignite UI charts. And so Ignite UI has three principles. First is that it helps you to write your application faster, and you'll see that how it helps you to speed up your development process. Then whenever you use Ignite UI components, it makes your application faster. It helps to run your application faster. So you will see that as well. And of course, Ignite UI can be worked with all the modern web frameworks, which is supported in Ignite UI. Well, so enough of theory. Let us go back to the demo part now. So what I have done, I have created a very simple application here. That application, Angular application, which has nothing right now. So here I have an Angular application which has hello world, and this is the component. And let me go and change this component value to hello world to, let us say, hello Ignite UI. I'll go and save it, and if come back here, you find that this has been changed to hello Ignite UI. So what we are going to do, we are going to add charts, Ignite UI charts on top in this Angular application. And to do that, what I have done, I have installed Ignite UI for JavaScript Angular using npm install. So I installed npm install Ignite UI. So I have already ran that command. I ran this command, very simple command in my application, npm install Ignite UI Angular 2. Even if model name is Angular 2, it works with Angular 4 as well. So npm install Ignite UI Angular 2. Once that is done, what you need to do, next step, you need to go and start importing Ignite UI charts. So what I have done here, I have imported IG data chart component. We are not going to use IG funnel chart here, so let's get rid of this. So what I have done, I have imported IG data chart component from Ignite UI Angular 2, and then I am declaring that here. Also, we are going to use IG zoom bar, and for that we imported IG zoom bar component from Ignite UI Angular 2 and then declaring it. So after installing Ignite UI library in your project, what all you need to do to work with charts, you need to import them and you need to declare them. Once that is done, go back to, let us see that how easily and quickly we can add a chart in our application. So let us see that how we can do that. For that, very first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a data. So I'll create a function called get data, and in this function I'll say that, hey, return me an array, and in this array I'm going to return some data, and using that data will populate the chart. So here inside this get data, what I'm saying that here, return country name. Like there are five rows, and then country name, population 95 205. So it's a data which is showing population of the countries like China, India, United States, Indonesia, and Brazil in 95, 2005, 2015, and 2025. And we are going to use this data to create our data chart. So here I have a function called get data in my component, and that particular function is returning the data which we need for our application, for our chart. Once uh, once that is done, let us go and declare a variable. So here we'll say that, hey, private data, and since right now we don't have any type, so we are saying that the type of data is any. um, Great. Next, what we need to do, we need to create option for our chart. So for that, create another variable called private and say options, and again type of that is any. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to fetch this data in the ng on init in the constructor of this particular component as of now. So I'll say that, hey, constructor. So in the constructor of this component class, we are going to create the chart options. Anyway, so this is here. Now let us go back to our app.component.html, and here what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the chart which will render that data. And for that, what you need to do, you need to use something called IG data chart. So this IG data chart will add a chart on your application. Of course, in IG data chart, you have to pass widget ID. So I'll say we need widget ID to use this chart with other controls like zoom bar or something. So here what I'm saying that widget ID of chart is, and let us say I'm saying that widget ID of chart is data chart 1. So here I have given the widget ID of the chart, which is data chart 1, and then we need to set options of the chart, and using two-way data binding, which is banana in the box, we have enabled some options two-way data binding on the chart, and we'll set that options to the option property. So what we need to do, we need to now create this options property. So here so far what I have done, I'm saying that IG data chart options we are going to create. Widget ID is set to data chart 1, and yeah, so let's go ahead and create these options. For that, we have already created this variable options, and that options and these options are same. And here what I'm going to do, I'll say that, hey, configure the options of the chart for me. So here this dot options equal to, and that takes a JavaScript object. So first thing you want to set is data source of the chart, and data source of the chart is this dot data. And here in the constructor, before doing that, we'll say this dot data is equal to this dot get data. So here it will fetch data from this function and assign to this dot data. In further demo, we'll bring that data from the server. So here we set the data source. Once you have data source, next what you need to do, you need to set the axis of the chart. And to set axis of the chart, you have property axis. So here we are saying that, hey, this is a this is the on the x-axis we want to display the country name, on the y-axis we want to display that numeric value. So here you see that on the y-axis we are going to display these numeric values and the different series. So here is the name and the type category x, like the x x-axis is going to contain the category, which is country here, and y-axis is going to contain the population of the countries in different years. So here we have created axis of the chart. Once axis of the chart is created, we need to add a series in the chart, and to add series in the chart, again come and add a property called the series, and where we are saying that the first series is on the first series show the population of 201, so the population of 2015, and that's why value member path is set to property pop 2015. Its x-axis is name axis, y-axis is population y-axis. Is it highlighting enabled true? Yes. Is it transition enabled true? So when you work with the zoom bar, the transition, like, it will give you some sort of animation. That's why this value are true. There are many properties in the series which you can explore further on the documentation. Also, I'm saying the type of this series is line. Again, you remember we have 50 different types of type available. So once this series is done, so what we have done here, we have set the series, we have set axis, we have set data source. So this looks good, and here let's put a semicolon. Now go file, save all. So we are missing some things. So here, this widget ID, we must have done some spelling mistake in this widget ID, and the widget ID is this, and it is a property binding. So you see that we did a mistake there. Should be the property binding like this, and then we are saying that this name is data chart 1. Another error is that IG data chart is not closed, so we need to close this as well. So this is the thing which I'm trying to show you that how easy it is. So I'm doing the live coding in front of you, such that you can see that how fast it is to write the application. And here you see that you have a chart created. You can very much go and set the width of the chart here. So in the data source, you can go and say that width is, let us say, 100%. So what it will do, it will make the chart width to the whole screen. So here you see that right now it is showing you one series, and that is population of 2015. If you want to add more series, you can very much do that. And as you see that series takes array, an object array as a parameter. So here you can say that 2015 population, show me 2025 population, and here change it to 2025 to the property. And instead of, now you should have two series here. One is showing you population of 2015, and other is showing you population of 2025. If you don't want line, you can go and change it to columns. Type. So here you have these column types, and actually this is CULUM in column and column. So here you should have a chart created which is of type column, and here you see that you have a different population of different countries in the column, and you can even combine different types. For example, 2025 if you want to show in column, and 2015 if you want to show in line, you can very much do that as well. So here you just added a chart with two series, and both series has different type. Here you see that here's a line for 2015 and column for 2025. There are other type also available, like area, and you can explore other different types also. So here we are showing area for 2015. So here you see in the bottom area, and for 2025 it is the chart. Let me just get rid of this. And now if you go and say save all, you see that now this is shown in form of area. So you see that how easy it is to add a chart. Of course, I'll show you that how you can add to the large volume of data coming from the server later. So this is how you can work with a data chart. Next, what I'm going to show you, that what if you want to change the chart type. So for example, right now this is set to column, and we have only one series, and it is set to column. We want to have a button here, and when we click on the button, we want to change the zoom bar type. So first, let us add a zoom bar to our application. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a zoom bar to our application here. For that, app.component.html. So I'm saying that IG zoom bar options, widget ID is set to zoom bar and IG zoom bar. So this is your zoom bar. And if you remember, in app.module.ts we have already imported IG zoom bar component and declaring it here. So here I have added IG zoom bar. Now we need to create zoom bar options, and for zoom bar options, again in app component, let us go and add one variable private zoom bar options. Now let us go ahead and create a zoom bar option. So for zoom bar options, again in the constructor of this class, just once that is option is created, after that you can create this zoom bar options. And here we are saying target is set to data chart 1. In app.component.html you can see that widget ID is set to data chart 1 for IG data chart. So we are setting that here, data chart 1. And then if you go and save and run application again, so it seems again some template pass error here. IG zoom bar options, and then we are saying widget ID is set to zoom bar, and here it is IG zoom bar. So these space are causing problem here. So file save all. And here you see that we have a chart and then the zoom bar in the bottom, which helps you to zoom a particular section in your chart. So here you see that we have, you can zoom a particular column here, and if you have last set of data and many last set of columns of the data, the zoom bar can be very useful for you, as you see. If you want, you can change the zoom bar type as well, and for that what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a button on our HTML. So here what I'm saying that, hey, add me a button, and type of that is button. We don't have any button thing, so let us click, and on click we are saying that, hey, change zoom bar type, and here's the button control. So we have a button here, and on click of this button we'll change the type in the zoom bar. So here I have that change zoom bar type button. When we click, we want to change the type of the zoom bar. So for that we need to write this function change ZB, and let us see that how we can write that. So what we'll do, in the app.component.ts we will write that function change ZB, and then saying that, hey, let option is option, then target is data chart 1, and then we are cloning that chart, which this dot data, then grid mode is done, then axis is same, population 6, and then here we are changing that series type to line from the column in line number 74. And now if you go and run this, and when you click on change zoom type, you see that it has been changed to line from the column. So this is very good. What you learned here, that how you can access these, how you can access the charts from the zoom bar, and how you can change the type of series and everything, everything in that. So this is the simplest chart you can think of, and it's just took few lines of code. If you see here, just one line of code on your template, and like few lines of code on your on your class, where you are just configuring options. In options, you are saying data source, axis, and series to create a chart. If you have any question, I'm open to take that. And next, I'll show you that how you can work with data which is coming from the server. So if you don't have any question, let us add a new chart, and that chart will work with the data which is coming from a Node.js based REST API. And for that, what I'm going to do, okay, so for that, what I'm going to do here, I'll add a new service. And for that, go here and say that, hey, add a new service called new file app.service.ts. So I have app.service.ts, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a service, Angular service. So we'll say that export class app service. And to make this class to work with other everything related to HTTP service and all, we got to import inject table, HTTP RxJS observable, and then decorate this app service with inject table. Now this is our service. uh, and in this, we are going to bring data from the server. So what I have a URL which is right here, nodejs.infragistics.com/API, and this API will give us some data to work with. So if you go and hit that URL, you see that it is giving you last set of data, which we are going to bind to a chart. So here it is. It is the the API. Now to bring the data, what I'm going to do, first, of course, I need to inject HTTP to this app service, which in the constructor, I'm creating a variable HTTP, and type of that is HTTP service. HTTP service is used to work with REST API in Angular. So here it has been injected by Angular in your application, and we will be using this private HTTP to bring data from the server. So once that is done, let us write code to bring the data. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a function called get stocks, and in this function I'll say that let data equal to this dot http dot get me data from this dot chart data API, and once data is back, map it to a function called this dot extract data, which I'm going to create next. And if there is an error, then map that to a error function, which is again I'm going to create next. So here we'll say this dot handle error. It is showing you error because we have not created those functions, and here we'll say return data. Great. So here it is, or get stocks data, Now let's go ahead and create this extract data. So extract data function will look like something this. We are extracting JSON from the server response, and the error will look like this, which we are extracting here. So what we are doing here is that whatever data is coming from the server response, we are extracting the JSON out of that, and here is the error. So here this code will bring that data from Node.js based API, and whenever we use this service and call get stocks method, we should able to get that in our component or wherever we are using that service. So once this is done, to use this service, what we need to do, we need to go to app.module.ts, and first is we need to import that service. So import app service from app.service. So here it has imported. Next, what we got to do, we got to take this guy and pass in the providers. So here we pass that in provider app service. Great. So we have done that. Now to use, let us say we want to use this indicator, we want to use that in a chart called indicator chart, or maybe in a chart called volume chart. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use that in a chart called, let us say, price chart. And so for that, what we will do, we'll create another component here, and let us call that component as price chart dot, or let us call that as indicator chart dot component dot ts. Okay, so we are going to create this indicator chart, and for that, in this indicator chart dot component, first let us import required component and on it, and here it is in app.service. We need that. Then we are going to create indicator chart component, and for that, what we are saying that, hey, we don't need this module ID as of now, so we'll say that selector is indicator chart and template URL is indicator chart dot component.html, and we are going to bring data from the API on init lifecycle hook, and that's why we have imported it here and implementing it here. So we have to do ng on init. Here we got to import that. So here we have created a component. In that component, we are going to create another chart which will work with that last set of data coming from the server. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to declare some variables here. So what I'm saying that, hey, private stocks any, private chart options is type IG data chart, or any you can take, then error message, and then we are going to set height of the chart as well. Keep in mind that type of stocks is any, and it is initialized with an empty array. So here, once that is done, we need to bring data in the from app service. So we need to inject that here, and again we'll follow the same pattern which we followed to inject HTTP in our service. So here we say constructor private app service app service. It will now we can use this dot app service to dot get stocks to get data. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to say that, hey, first set me the height of the chart, which is here, this dot desired height, whatever is the window screen dot height. Then to get data from the server, from the API, what we are going to do here, we are going to say that, hey, this dot app service dot get stocks be created, which is returning an observable. So we are subscribing to that, and then JavaScript ECMAScript 6 arrow function, we are saying that this dot stocks which we created here is equal to the stocks which is coming from the server, from that API, and if there is an error, then we are assigning that to the error message. So this particular line will subscribe to the observable which is coming from get stocks, which you created here, and and put the data and bring the data and assign that to local variable, private variable called stocks right here. Great. So we have this we have now data in the component. We have the desired height. What we need to do, we need to set the chart options as we did in a previous demo. And what I'm going to do in this time, we are going to break that in various functions. So here what I'm doing, I'm saying that, hey, this dot chart options equal to this dot get indicator chart options. Previous demo, what you did, you configured options right here, but now what we are going to do, we are going to create function to configure axis and series, and such that our code readability would be better. Okay, so here I have this dot get indicator chart options, and so we got to create a function called get indicator chart options. So here I'm creating that, and in this we'll say that, hey, what I'm going to do, we are going to return an object. So we'll come here and say that, hey, return me chart axis, which we are going to create, and indicator chart series, which we are going to create. Then we are saying that we are setting other properties like width 100%, height is this dot desired height, margin left 0, right margin 0, sync channel 1. Sync means if this particular chart is synced, is working with other zoom bar and all, it will be in sync with them. Then synchronize vertically, synchronize horizontally, set to false. If you want to read more about these properties, I'll leave you with documentation, which you can go ahead and read that. So here we have get indicator chart options. Next, let us go and create this function, this indicator chart axis. So what I'll do, we'll go and create this get indicator chart axis function. So here I have created get indicator chart axis, where I'm saying that name x-axis, again the label is date, minimum value 1, maximum 1, minimum, then y-axis numeric outside right, and then we are setting color of the stock as well, and label extent. So this particular function is returning the axis, which is assigned to this axis. Then we need to create this function get indicator chart series. Let us go and add that function as well. So here I'll say that add that function get indicator chart series, and here you see the type of chart is money flow index indicator. It's not column or line, and it has high axis, y axis set, then volume member path set to volume, close member path is set to close, high member path is set to high, and lower member path is set to low. So these are the properties which is coming from here. You see that you have close, high, and all those properties in your data. So this is what all you need to do to configure that chart. What I did, I brought data from the service, then setting the chart options, in the chart options setting in axis, setting then chart series and everything. Next, what we need to do, we need to create this file indicator chart.component.html. So I'll go here and say that app new file. And in this indicator chart.html, let us go and say that, hey, IG data chart options is chart options, and here we are setting data source in the template to the stocks. And if you see here, this is stocks. We are assigning that from the data coming from the server. Great. So here we have created a chart indicator like option chart options data source. In the chart options, it is given that the type of this chart is set to, if you go here and say the chart series, the type is money flow index indicator. Now to use this chart, what I need to do, I need to go to first app.module.ts, and here we'll say import from indicator chart.component, and then we got to declare it. And the selector of this chart is set to indicator chart. We want to use that on app.component.html. So just below the button, Let us put this chart. And keep in mind that this indicator chart is working with the data, is the large volume of data which is coming from the server. So if everything is correct, we should have a thing here. So here there's again some error, but that is fine. We will just fix it. Uh, so here it is saying there is some problem with our provider. And that problem is in app.module.ts. We need to import this HTTP thing which we have not imported. So here in to work with that HTTP module, you got to import this HTTP module, and then you have to then pass it here. So that was the error because we did not import it, is HTTP module. So let's first fix that, see again if it is working, if everything is fine in this. Yeah, so it looks good, and you see that you have a money indicator chart in the bottom, and this chart is working with the data which is coming from the server, and then here you have a chart with zoom bar, that is a data chart with type column, and that chart is working with the data, with the local data. So here you see that you can very easily create a chart which is working with the data from the server and all that. So this is the power of Ignite UI, that it helps you to write your application faster, and it is working with large volume of data and everything. So here I will show you something that if you go to you can see this application, full-fledged application, financial application. You can download this and play around that. It has 3 different types of chart, grid. You can go and change grid, and you can do filters and everything. And you can download this particular application from our Ignite UI page. So go to developers and Ignite UI. You can download that sample. You can read step by step like how to add those charts. So if you go to this right fast section, click on get started, and here you see that you have add data visualization to your app. So you have videos, you have sample code, you have how to guide. When you click on how to guide, here it shows you that like in detail how you can add those charts in your application. Also it talks about all these properties, like what is the type x-axis, what are the different x-axis and y-axis types are available, what is the meaning of label extent, and also in the series there are many properties. So it talks about what is value member path, what is transition enabled, and everything. So this has a step by step like how you can add charts. And not only that, this is in the right fast section, and if you go back to run fast section, you see that it will show you that how it works with large volume of data. So here it is, the fastest data visualization. Again, if you go and click on how to guide, it will show you that the sample which we just did, that how this data is bringing data from the server and everything. So feel free to download this how to guide, these videos, this sample application, play around, and I'm sure it would be useful for you. So this is what all I have for today webinar, and if you are in India, please send your queries to sales-india@infragistics.com. If you are in Japan or APAC, send your queries to apacsales@infragistics.com. And please feel free to download Ignite UI from infragistics.com/product/Ignite UI. So thank you so much for attending today's webinar. I'm open to take questions. Recording of this webinar will be available. All these code are downloadable from our website, so feel free to check that. Once again, thank you so much.